Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's election season again, which means it's that special time when we all pretend to be experts on fiscal policy, foreign affairs, and the proper way to pronounce Nicaragua. It's Nicaragua, by the way, not Nicaragua, like a pirate trying to hail a Central American country. This year's election, like every election in recent memory, has been billed as the most important of our lifetime. And look, I get it. The stakes are high. Emotions are running hotter than a chili cook-off in Death Valley. And we're all one poorly worded tweet away from global thermonuclear war. But here's the thing. Before you cast your vote for the lesser of two evils, I want to propose a radical idea. Maybe, just maybe, we shouldn't. Now, before you click away in a fury of righteous indignation, hear me out. In this video, we're going to delve into the top 5 reasons why you might want to reconsider voting for either Biden or Trump. We'll explore the potential pitfalls of blindly following party lines and the merits of considering alternative candidates or focusing on specific policy issues. Because let's face it, sometimes the best choice isn't on the ballot. Let's start with Joe Biden, shall we? The man who campaigned on a return to normalcy and then promptly walked us straight into a plate glass door of inflation, foreign policy blunders, and the unsettling realization that maybe, just maybe, he's not quite as sharp as he used to be. Now, I understand that for many, voting for Biden was a vote against Trump, and I'm not here to invalidate those feelings. But it's important to remember that elections shouldn't be treated like a hostage situation where you're forced to choose between two equally unappealing options. Biden's age and cognitive abilities have been a topic of much discussion, and while I'm not one to engage in ageism, it's fair to question whether someone in their late 70s or 80s has the stamina and mental acuity to handle the demands of the presidency. Then there's his track record. Biden has been in politics for nearly half a century, and his record is far from spotless. From his handling of the Anita Hill hearings to his support for the Iraq War, Biden has made his fair share of questionable decisions. And let's not forget his policies. While some may applaud his more moderate stance compared to the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, others argue that he's not progressive enough, particularly when it comes to issues like climate change, healthcare, and economic inequality. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, the elephant that stormed the Capitol building on January 6th, Donald Trump, the man who single-handedly turned American politics into a reality TV show where the plot is nonsensical, the characters are deeply unsettling, and the only consistent theme is chaos. Look, I'm not going to waste your time listing all of Trump's flaws. We'd be here longer than a Trump rally where he's rambling about windmills causing cancer. But it's worth reiterating that this is a man who has shown a blatant disregard for the rule of law, a penchant for inciting violence, and an uncanny ability to make even the most ardent supporters of democracy question the very foundations of our political system. His presidency was marked by constant scandal, from his impeachment twice to his cozy relationship with foreign dictators. He undermined democratic institutions, spread misinformation like it was going out of style, and left the country more divided than ever. And yet, despite all of this, he remains a popular figure among a significant portion of the population, which frankly is more terrifying than any horror movie I've ever seen. Okay, so we've established that both Biden and Trump have their fair share of baggage. But what are the alternatives? Well, for starters, there are third-party candidates. Now I know what you're thinking. Third-party candidates, those are the people who get like 2% of the vote and then disappear into obscurity, right? And yes, historically that has often been the case. But in an election where both major party candidates are deeply flawed, perhaps it's time to give third-party candidates a more serious look. They may not have the name recognition or the financial backing of the Democrats or Republicans, but they often offer fresh perspectives and policy ideas that challenge the status quo. Another option is to focus on voting for candidates down ballot. Local and state elections often have a more direct impact on our daily lives than presidential elections, yet they tend to receive far less attention. By focusing on these races, you can have a say in who represents you on issues like education, healthcare, and the environment. But here's the thing. You don't have to choose a candidate to believe in. You can choose to believe in ideas. Instead of blindly voting for a party or a personality, consider focusing on the issues that matter most to you. Are you passionate about climate change, healthcare reform, economic inequality? Research the candidates' stances on these issues and vote for the ones who align with your values. This approach may require a bit more effort than simply checking a box next to a familiar name, but it allows you to be a more informed and engaged citizen. It's about taking ownership of your vote and using it to support the policies and principles you believe in, rather than simply choosing the lesser of two evils. Now, I know what you're thinking. You've spent the last several minutes telling us why we shouldn't vote for Biden or Trump, but you haven't really given us a clear alternative. And to that, I say fair point. But here's the thing. Sometimes the most powerful choice you can make is to choose not to choose, or more accurately, to choose not to participate in a system that you believe is fundamentally broken. Deciding not to vote can be a legitimate form of political expression. It's a way of saying, I refuse to endorse a system that offers me two unacceptable options. It's a way of demanding better from our political leaders and our political system as a whole. So, there you have it. The top 5 reasons why you might want to reconsider voting for either Biden or Trump. Now, I'm not here to tell you what to do. Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to vote and who to vote for is a deeply personal one. But I urge you to think critically about the choices before you. Don't simply vote for the candidate who's been endorsed by your favorite celebrity or the one who's most likely to own the libs or trigger the snowflakes. Vote for the candidate who you believe will best represent your interests and the interests of the country as a whole. And if you don't believe that either Biden or Trump is that candidate, well, then maybe it's time to demand better. Because a democracy where the only choices are bad and worse isn't much of a democracy at all. It's more like a hostage situation at a buffet where all the food is slightly off And the only two people you can ask for help are a screaming toddler and a mime who only communicates through aggressive eyebrow movements. And frankly, we deserve better than that.